Recently, many have felt a strange weight in their heads. It is not a common headache, nor is it muscle tension. It doesn't go away with medication. Doctors find nothing. And that's where the point lies. This sensation is not physical. It is spiritual. It marks a beginning, a code, an activation that is happening within the chosen ones. This pressure occurs mainly at the top of the head or on the sides. It is subtle but constant. It comes out of nowhere without apparent reason. And as strange as it may seem, it has a purpose. It is a sign that something is being released within you. It is not something to be afraid of. It is something to pay attention to. The mind is being touched. The spirit is aligning. And what once seemed only uncomfortable becomes a warning. When God starts to move the pieces, the first to feel it are those with a mission. And this mission is being activated now, from the inside out. This is not a coincidence. It is a calling. And if you are here, it is because you need to hear this clearly, without confusion. So pause for a moment, listen carefully, and keep this in your heart. This pressure in the head is not pain. It is direction. Now subscribe to the channel now. Here we speak seriously about what the world ignores. Just the truth that needs to be said. This pressure that many feel in their heads is not something random. It arises without any apparent physical reason, but it carries a deep meaning. It usually appears at the top of the head or on the sides, and it does not respond to common treatments. This is because it does not come from the body. It comes from the spirit. It is the first sign of something that is being activated internally. The mind is the first to react when the soul is touched. The body remains in the same place, but thoughts change, perceptions transform, and a new way of seeing reality begins to emerge. It is as if you are being pulled out of the old pattern, without warning, without explanation. You just feel that something has begun to move. This sensation is different from a headache. It does not throb, nor does it increase with physical effort. It is constant, silent, and sometimes gives the impression that something is opening up inside. Many describe it as a pressure upward, as if the skull is being touched from within. And this is not imagination. The most common point where this pressure appears is the crown chakra, the highest part of the head. According to ancient spiritual traditions, this point is the direct channel between the human being and the divine plane. When it begins to activate, the person enters a process of reconnection. Heaven begins to communicate with earth, through you. This communication does not come with words. It comes with intuitions, images, sensations, and even silence. The spirit begins to align the mind, adjusting thoughts, memories, and perceptions, so that you see beyond the surface. This is why this pressure may come accompanied by internal questioning. You begin to see what you previously ignored. This is a delicate yet powerful moment. It is common to feel confusion, as if the world around no longer makes sense. Reason tries to explain, but it cannot. The mind becomes restless because it is being reorganized. It is as if a new system is being installed within you, and the old one starts to disassemble. During this phase, some people feel the need to be quieter. Others withdraw from noisy or heavy environments. This happens because the body is requesting silence to process what is being delivered spiritually. The mind needs space to absorb and adjust to this new frequency. This process is not the same for everyone. Each person feels it in their own way, but the pattern is the same. A silent change begins within the mind and expands into the rest of life. Small choices change. The way of speaking shifts. The way of reacting to situations transforms. It is not magic. It is adjustment. Over time, this pressure may appear and disappear. At times, it may vanish for days. At other times, it returns with more intensity. This depends on what is being worked on within you. The more you resist, the more the body feels it. When you accept, everything begins to flow more lightly. The important thing to remember is that this is not a problem. It is preparation. The spirit is asking for passage, and the mind is the first gate. When this gate opens, other areas also align: heart, speech, perception, and action. The pressure is not an obstacle. It is the push that was missing. This area at the top of the head, called the crown, is a sensitive and powerful point. In many traditions, it is considered the gateway to divine consciousness. When there is pressure there, the body is signaling that this channel is being activated. It is not just about energy. It is about access. Something from above begins to descend. This access does not come with logical explanations. It manifests in deep perceptions, sudden chills, a feeling of presence, or even crying without cause. The energy that passes through the crown stirs everything. It is as if a flow of light is reorganizing information that was dormant within you, ready to be revealed. This pressure in the head can occur in moments of silence, after a prayer, or even without apparent reason. The truth is that you do not need to do anything specific for this to happen. What is being released was already programmed. It is a natural activation, and it occurs at the right time for each individual. When this spiritual center opens, the body feels it. There may be a slight numbness on the scalp, a ringing in the ears, or a feeling of lightness in the head. All of this is part of the experience. The body is being used as a bridge. The connection with the divine manifests from the inside before reflecting on the outside. This phase also brings a shift in the perception of God. He ceases to be just a distant idea and begins to be a living presence, felt in every detail of the day. It is not a religion. It is an experience. It is not about believing with words. It is about feeling with the whole being. Faith stops being discourse and becomes reality. During this activation, some people have brief visions, quick images with their eyes closed, or sensations that they are receiving instructions without words. It is not necessary to understand everything now. What is important is to recognize that something greater is moving, and that this pressure is a physical sign of an invisible and sacred process. With the crown chakra activated, there is a natural tendency to seek more silence, more sky, more meaning. The distractions of the world begin to lose their strength. What once seemed urgent now feels small. The connection with the higher reorganizes priorities. What was noise becomes background, and what was background becomes a call. At this stage, the ego begins to lose space. A desire to serve, to heal, to bring light to those around you emerges. This is part of the mission. The spiritual activation is not just for you to feel. It is for you to transform. And this transformation begins with a simple acceptance. Something greater is passing through me. The process is real, even if invisible. And the body is alerting you all the time. This pressure is not hindering you. It is waking you up. Everything is adjusting so that you remember who you are, where you came from, and why you are here. The pain that bothers is the same pain that reveals you. Whoever feels this pressure is not sick. They are accessing. The Spirit is pouring out instructions, strength, and direction, not to scare you, but to align you. And when you understand this, the pressure ceases to be uncomfortable and becomes sacred, because you understand that something divine is being released through you. When this pressure in the head appears, it almost never comes alone. Other signs begin to emerge in the body and around you. Many report sharp ringing in the ears, sensitivity to light, discomfort with noise, and even malfunctions in nearby electronic devices. These symptoms are not random. They are natural reactions to the energetic elevation that is happening. The body feels before the mind understands. It instinctively responds to spiritual frequencies. The ringing in the ears, for example, is often a type of tuning, as if your spiritual hearing is being calibrated. It is an internal adjustment. It is not an auditory problem, but a reflection of the vibrational movement in the more subtle layers of your being. Sensitivity to light is also common. Suddenly, the sun seems stronger. Bright light feels more uncomfortable. This happens because the eyes are trying to adapt to a more refined perception. The body is making space for a new way of seeing, not just what is outside, but also what is inside. In many cases, electronic devices begin to fail for no apparent reason. Lights flicker, cell phones freeze, appliances stop working out of the blue. It is not superstition. The energy that moves in your field interferes with the surrounding fields. It is as if your spiritual field is more charged, more intense, affecting everything that vibrates nearby. These interferences are signs that something new is being activated. It is as if the spirit is using the physical to warn you. Pay attention. Something in you is being realigned. These phenomena are not meant to scare you. They are just indicators that your vibration is changing and the environment is reacting to it. Additionally, it is possible to notice alterations in the senses. Taste may change, and the smell of certain places may become bothersome. Busy places cause exhaustion, and quiet environments become more pleasant. All of this indicates that your body is moving away from noise and approaching what is light, pure, and essential. It is important to understand that these changes are not permanent in the physical sense. They are part of the adjustment process. As your energy stabilizes, the symptoms diminish. The body learns to cope with this new reality. But while the realignment occurs, it will utilize all possible resources to show you that something is different. The key here is not to ignore the signs. When a device malfunctions, observe what you are thinking or feeling at that moment. When the ringing comes, stop and breathe. Do not flee. These events are invitations to presence. Invitations to step out of the automatic and turn back inward. The spiritual world is touching the physical in a more direct way than ever before. What was once merely intuition is now a real, visible, audible sensation. And this means that the chosen ones are being prepared on all levels, body, mind, and spirit, for something much greater. There are moments when time seems to change its rhythm. On specific days, the pressure in the head intensifies, the senses become sharper, and the feeling of something happening grows without explanation. This is not random. On dates like July 5th, July 9th, and 22nd, and August 5th, the planet enters a new energetic cycle. On July 5th, 2024, Earth recorded its fastest rotation in recent history. Science confirmed this, but few understood what it really meant. When the Earth spins faster, time contracts, perception changes. The sense of spiritual acceleration becomes stronger, especially among those who are in a process of alignment. In 2025, the days July 9th and 22nd and August 5th mark new peaks. These are dates when planetary movement creates an energetic opening, a type of portal. On these days, many report intense dreams, unusual thoughts, increased pressure in the head, and an unexplained restlessness. These are signs of the body reacting to the Earth's vibrational field. These dates act as catalysts. They accelerate what is already in progress. If you are going through a spiritual awakening process, these days serve as pushes. You may feel more sensitive, more introspective, or more connected to realities that are not visible to the common eye. It is as if the veil becomes thinner. During these dates, the pressure in the head may increase. It is as if the spirit is using the planet's vibration to intensify the activation. It is not magic, but frequency. Everything in the universe is vibration, and the Earth, as a living body, emits pulses that directly affect our biology and spirituality. These portals do not need to be understood precisely. They need to be respected. On these days, slow down. Avoid excesses, noise, and unnecessary commitments. Pay attention to what you feel. Write down your dreams. Spend a few minutes in silence and notice what arises. The Earth is communicating, and you may be receiving important instructions. Some people report that during these periods, they have brief visions, clear intuitions, or even answers to old questions. The mind does not need to understand everything, but the heart recognizes what is true. On these dates, the energy of the planet is more concentrated. It is like a spiritual tide that rises and invites you to dive deeper. It is also common for unexpected decisions, changes in direction, or the closing of cycles to arise during these days. This happens because the energy fields are in motion. What was hidden comes to the surface. What no longer serves begins to drift away. And all of this is reflected on both individual and collective levels. The dates themselves are not magical. They merely reveal what was already ready to emerge. When the Earth's rotation accelerates, physical time adapts. But more than that, spiritual time manifests. Something that was trapped begins to loosen. And this is felt clearly by those who are attentive. If you have ever felt that on certain days, everything seems denser or clearer, don't ignore it. The universe moves in cycles, and these cycles touch the Earth, touch the body, touch the spirit. The dates that mark these peaks are not just numbers on the calendar. They are moments marked by heaven to move forward with the chosen ones. When the signs begin to appear, the first reaction of many is fear. The mind tries to find logical explanations, and when it can't, doubt arises. Am I going crazy? This feeling of isolation is common. But it's important to know that you are not alone. What you are feeling is happening to many other people.
Around the world, thousands are reporting the same symptoms: pressure in the head, buzzing, extreme sensitivity, strange dreams, and sudden changes in perception. These reports come from different countries, cultures, and ages, but they all have one common detail. Everyone feels that they are going through something different, something that doesn't fit traditional explanations. There is a pattern to it all. Those who are feeling these activations are people who have always carried a greater sensitivity. They are those who, from an early age, realized that the world was more than appearance. Now, with the increase in the Earth's vibration, these souls are being activated. It's as if a spiritual programming has been activated from within. This activation has no set time, nor does it come the same way for everyone. For some, it begins with intense dreams. For others, it comes with internal crises, mood swings, or an uncontrollable desire to change their lives. All of this is part of the same process, the call to a new consciousness, and this call is being sent to many at the same time. In spiritual communities, study groups, and even on social media, people are sharing similar experiences. This shows that something collective is in motion. The spiritual activation of the chosen ones is a silent but constant reality. It crosses borders, beliefs, and customs, bringing together people who have never met but feel the same. This feeling of not belonging that so many have carried for years starts to make sense now. You weren't strange. You were ahead of your time. And now is the time to remember who you are. This remembrance does not come from the mind. It comes from the soul. And when others go through the same, the path becomes less lonely. Knowing that you are not the only one brings relief, but it also brings responsibility. Because now that you understand that this is real,
You need to take care of yourself. And, when possible, reach out to those who are still confused. Each one has their time, but everyone has a role. And recognizing this is the first step toward living this time with purpose. If you feel that you are being activated, know there are others like you. And this is not a coincidence. It is part of a greater plan. The souls have been prepared, and now they are being positioned. It doesn't matter your story, your age, or your level of knowledge. What matters is that you are feeling, and that already puts you on the path. When the pressure in your head arises, do not panic. Do not try to force explanations. Just breathe deeply. This is a moment to slow down inside. The mind will want to control, but the spirit only manifests when there is space. It is in silence, not in noise, that the deepest spiritual instructions are delivered. Prayer, when done sincerely, calms the emotional field. It doesn't need to be long or memorized, it just needs to be true. Speak to God simply. It is not about asking, it is about aligning yourself. Prayer clears the channel between heaven and your consciousness. It does not eliminate the pressure, but it helps you understand what is being transmitted through it. The pressure in the head is not just a spiritual sign, it is the beginning of a greater activation. It marks the moment when purpose starts to emerge. The chosen ones were not called to observe, but to act. This silent pain is a divine nudge, reminding that there is a mission waiting to be fulfilled. Each person who feels this calling carries a unique role. Some will be guides, others healers, others messengers. The format doesn't matter. What matters is the surrender. Spiritual activation is not meant to generate confusion, but to align. When you begin to accept this process, purpose reveals itself more clearly, one step at a time. This mission does not depend on titles or external recognition. It happens in everyday life, in words, in presence, in the way of touching those around you. The chosen ones are like points of light scattered throughout the world, stabilizing environments, awakening others, and sustaining higher frequencies. This is silent but powerful spiritual service. The world is going through a period of instability. Fear, noise, and distractions are everywhere. But precisely in this scenario, the chosen ones are activated. Because where there is darkness, it is where light needs to manifest. The pressure, the signs, and the revelations do not come for nothing. They come with a reminder. You have been prepared for this time. Accepting this mission is not about carrying a burden. It is about finding meaning. When you understand that you are part of something greater, everything changes. The pains turn into strength, the questions turn into direction, and life ceases to be about survival and becomes purpose. This is living awake. This is answering the call. We come to the end of this content, but perhaps it is just the beginning of something much more important for you. What seemed like just a silent annoyance, an unexplained pressure, is revealing itself as part of a greater process. A spiritual activation is not light. It shakes you from within and reorganizes what was asleep. The pain that does not go away with medicine, the symptoms that no one explains, and the inner restlessness are signs that your soul is responding to something. And this is valuable. It is a privilege, even if it is difficult. It is not about punishment. It is about purpose. And true purpose always comes with responsibility and transformation. The activation you are feeling did not come to bring you down, but to prepare you. There is a generation being called in silence. Ordinary people, living their lives normally, are being touched intensely from within. They are the ones who will carry the light necessary for times that will still require courage and awareness. If you have made it this far, you probably carry this calling. You don't need to understand everything now, but you need to start respecting what you are feeling. The messages that come through the body, the dreams, the intuitions, the signs. All of this is being delivered with a purpose. And it is in silence that this purpose begins to take shape. You are not alone. And what you feel makes sense. Others are having similar experiences. And when these experiences are shared, a lot becomes clear. That's why I want to ask you something directly. Comment here about what you have been feeling in the last few days or weeks. Pressure in the head, intense dreams, sensations you can't explain, changes in perception. Talk about it. What you write may help another person understand what they are also experiencing. This space is not for ready-made phrases or quick answers. It is for truth. It is for exchange. It is to strengthen those who are going through the same. Leave your account, your experience, or even your question. Each sincere comment is a part of the whole. Together, we will give form to this process that the world still does not understand, but which the spirit already recognizes. The movement has begun, and you are part of it.